Alright, what's up you guys? It's me, Spiky Jesus, and I'm about to rant my fucking ass off at Bungie. So, in case you don't know, the Taken King DLC expansion pack for Destiny is coming out next Tuesday. Not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. And I was watching a bunch of videos around YouTube about Destiny, specifically what Destiny was supposed to be. And I just have, just a lot of stuff kind of came flooding back, my memory from playing Destiny, my memories of Destiny before I even bought it, and just how much of an utter disappointment this game was for me. Now, as I'm going through, basically this video is going to be titled my experience with Year 1 Destiny, which it's going to be truly my experience with Year 1 Destiny, but the disclaimer is I do have the Taken King pre-ordered, I have purchased it, so whatever I'm saying, just keep that in mind. And I do have reasons for why I purchased it, and they're not like cheesy reasons. They're legitimate reasons as to why I purchased it. So all my complaints in mind, keep in mind that I still am supporting this game. I'm just very, very, very disappointed and frustrated with how the first year played out. So we're going to hop right into it. So this time last year, I actually went back on my channel, looked at the first real video I made talking about Destiny, which was September 23rd, which I believe was maybe 2 to 3 weeks after Destiny originally came out. And it was a 7-minute video of me defending the people that were critiquing Destiny. Now, most people at the time were critiquing Destiny as being an endless grind, as having a shitty leveling system, shitty basically everything aside from gunplay, and I sat there for 7 minutes defending each and every aspect that people were criticizing. And as the year went on, I began to get more and more frustrated with the game, and I really felt kind of duped in terms of how much money I had put into the game, how much time I'd put into the game for a very, very lackluster product, which truly came to fruition when I was playing through The Witcher 3. So I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a tangent through there real quickly. Now, The Witcher 3 was developed by CD Projekt Red, a Polish company, I believe. If it's not a Polish company, I know the game is based off of a Polish book series. Now, you don't need to know much other than that it's similar to Skyrim in the sense that it's open world, it is third person, and there's questing, there's character development, skill trees, basically anything that any self-respecting RPG would have. And it is probably Game of the Year 2015. I would say without a doubt, for me, it is my personal Game of the Year. Whether or not, the critics believe that or, go along with that, I could care less, but it is the Game of the Year for me. And the reason why is because the sheer amount of content you get for your $60. Now, as I was playing through The Witcher 3, I was thinking, Bungie as a AAA title, similar to CD Projekt Red, a AAA developer, Bungie as a AAA developer had the potential to make Destiny one of the best games of all time, similar to The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 has the potential to be the best RPG of all time. I'm not going to lie. It has the potential to be the best RPG of all time. Destiny had the potential to be the best first-person shooter MMORPG of all time, although that is a very, very exclusive genre of gaming. But with the amount of money that CD Projekt Red, I believe CD Projekt Red went $300 million in on The Witcher 3 and made so much money back. So much money. I believe the statistic was in 6 weeks they sold 6 million copies. It's unreal the amount of success that game has had, and it's deserved because they truly created one of the best RPGs of all time. And the reason why, because I know I keep saying that, is probably redundant to you guys, but it's the sheer amount of content. I will say that is the deepest, most immersive RPG I've ever played. It's something as simple as you're questing around, you're urgently looking for your, you say adopted daughter, you're urgently looking for her, you come across, a quest line involving your old friend that supposedly spoke to your daughter-in-law, not daughter-in-law, adopted daughter, I keep forgetting how, surrogate daughter, something, Witcher. Anyways, moral of the story is something as simple as you searching for your daughter, we'll just say daughter from now on, something as simple as that, leading you to searching for your old best friend, and then leading you into a tavern where someone is singing a song about you and your love relationship with one of the other characters. It's just so crazy immersive, and it's mind-blowing to me that they only spent 60% of what the developers of Bungie spent on developing Destiny. I'm sorry. The Witcher 3 spent $300 million. Destiny and Bungie spent $500 million developing Destiny. And The Witcher 3 came out the much, much, much superior game. And I have no idea how a developer like Bungie with a very storied history, a very successful history in game development, managed to launch such a flop. Now, last night, I was watching this video. I believe it was made by someone named, like, Late Night Gaming. I'll find it after I finish ranting. But it was made by this commentator who basically said, the title of the video is The Dark Story Behind Destiny's Story, in which he describes, because this is something that surfaced, and I remember hearing something of the sort about this in the middle of the year, but essentially what happened with Destiny is it had this sick, really immersive story, so much more content where you'd get to explore beyond Old Rush on Earth. You'd get to explore stuff like Chicago and Detroit. The story itself was much more immersive. The Traveler was actually a bad guy, and it's a 17-minute video basically going on about how insane this story would have been, and then eventually people just started leaving Bungie. And now the theory is that Activision saw this story, or saw, what Destiny was becoming, and they were like, that sounds good, but maybe we can hack and slash pieces away and sell them as DLC instead. Now, I would have no problem with that if we were getting the initial game of Destiny that this guy was describing. What he was describing was a game that had so much content and a legitimate story where it sounds like you would have been the Guardian. It would have felt like a much more personal story. I would have no problem paying $100 for the game, which is what I've spent on Destiny so far, if we got the amount of content and like the insane storyline that was promised. I remember that Destiny, when it was being advertised, was its major selling point was its like very, 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 incredible story, very, inventive, ingenious, new take on storytelling in this space age, fucking space opera like MMO. I have no words to say how it was supposed to be. I mean, something as simple as going back and watching the E3 gameplay from 2 years ago in 2013, I have no idea where that game went. That game that was supposed to be so open and so fun to play with friends turned into an endless grind for gear and loot, where you're basically held slave to RNGesus. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So basically, this guy was going on about how, there was this really insane story being written by one of the writers from Halo, and he ended up leaving to go pursue other projects. And then, slowly more and more people began to seep out of Bungie. And we believe, so far, up to this point, and Activision hasn't confirmed or denied any of this, which, why would they? They don't really care. They're making so much money off this game. Basically, the theory is people were leaving Bungie because they weren't happy with the direction the game was going. Now, taking that into account and looking at the content that we actually got this past year, alright, so let's take it base game. Base game, there's 30 levels, 10 of those are for grinding for loot, basically, grinding for better loot and supplies so that you can level up the loot that you got to finally hit level 30. The Vault of Glass was really the highlight of this past year because it was truly, the Vault of Glass was probably a peek into what Destiny really could have been like. The Vault of Glass is probably the best activity. No, not probably. It is definitely the best activity that Destiny has to offer to this day. Now that right there pisses me off. The $60 I spent to purchase the game initially, right? It came with the best activity, and 1 year later, after 2 expansions that I spent $35 on, one with a raid and one with a wave type endgame content, neither of those were better than what they initially threw out there. Like, that blows my mind that Bungie can basically what they did was sat on their laurels, which is stupid because it was an awful game at release. It was 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Even now, I'd say Destiny is a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 game. And something as simple as the Taken King, spending $40 more for another expansion pack where they're supposedly going to fix a lot of the issues that were, at hand during year one, I feel completely fucked by Bungie, by Activision. I mean, I don't even know who to blame. It's the fact that Destiny was such a shit game, and it frustrates me because I know that it could have been amazing. Now, let's talk about the Taken King really quickly, actually, because I want to have a short rant about this. I know I'm 9 minutes in, and I'm saying short. So the Taken King is selling for $40 for the people that have already purchased Destiny and the other 2 expansions. Meanwhile, Activision has bundled together a Legendary Edition where you get the base game, the 2 expansions, and the Taken King for $60. So, basically, what they're doing is they're offering the better deal to new players, and I get that they want to bring in new players because this game is awful, and it pushed so many people away from it because of how bad it was at launch. They want to bring the new people back, be like, hey, for only $20 more than the actual expansion, you can get the whole game and the expansion. But that infuriates me, because that says to me that they personally believe that Destiny plus the first 2 expansions is only worth $20, and they've sold all that for $100. And I feel like I regret all of the time that I have spent playing Year 1 Destiny. I feel like I completely regret spending $100 this past year on Destiny. If I had known that the first 2 expansions would have been awful, the base game would have been awful, and they would have released those 3 plus another DLC that was supposed to fix all that 1 year later, I would have held off. I would not have purchased it. I feel completely schemed and tricked by Activision and Bungie. And that is something that has really, really, really cut deep into my gaming emotional self, because I trusted Bungie. Bungie developed the first FPS I ever played. It developed the first campaign of any FPS I ever played, and I have a lot of personal attachment to Bungie. Now, I get the whole thing that, you know, companies are not your friends. Even Bungie, companies are not your friends, and this is something you guys should kind of listen to too. Companies are there to make money. It's business. Business is not emotional. Business is savage, merciless, and they don't care about you. They care about your money. That's basically it. Now, if The Taken King does not live up to the hype, and trust me, I'm very, very, very minimal hyped for The Taken King, because I am terrified that it's going to be a huge disappointment. If The Taken King does not live up to the $40 price tag that they put on it, I'm done. I'm not playing Destiny anymore, because number one, they broke my trust by selling me an awful base game that was essentially a beta, plus the first 2 expansions, which were expansions on a beta, essentially. If the $40 that I'm putting into The Taken King are not, you know, worth, if the game itself isn't worth those $40, then I'm done. That's it. Even though I've had like some great gaming moments with my friends on Destiny, Beta, J4, 12, over this past year, stuff that I wouldn't trade for anything, it's not worth $140 to me to finally get a completed game that still isn't worth it's not worth the price tag to me. Sure, I know there are people out there that, you know, spend a lot of time playing Destiny and are okay with the massive amount of money that they're pouring into it, because maybe it's the only game they play. But for me, I like playing other games. I want to spend my money in other areas. I want to have a social life. I mean, I'm going to college in a year, and I want to have some money to spend when I get to college. $140 right now is a lot of money. I need gas money. I need money for food on the week, like just simple stuff like that. And truly, what Destiny has done has broken my trust with Bungie and Activision, and I don't feel like it's worth it anymore. And I regret probably 99% of Year 1. 99% of Year 1. I 100% regret purchasing Destiny. I will link in the description the videos that I discussed today. Hopefully, you guys kind of understand what I'm saying. I have no idea what the gameplay in the background is right now, because I haven't even recorded yet. I just sat down to rant. If you agree with me, like. If you disagree with me, dislike. If you disagree with me, then say so in the comments. I want to have some actual discussion here. But as for me, if The Taken King doesn't live up to the price tag, I'm done. I'm out. I'm selling the game, and I'm going to move from there. So thank you guys for listening. If you're still listening, leave a Spiky Jesus is mega rad in the comments if you're still listening. My name is Spiky Jesus. Thank you all very much for watching / listening, and hopefully I'll see you guys on The Taken King in a week or 2. I'm actually not kidding about that. I probably will be streaming a bit of The Taken King once it comes out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys very soon. Peace.